Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your friends in recovery.
Hello, and welcome to Friends in Recovery. Oh, wait, I didn't say. Hold on, one more time. All right. I just want to be like Ed.
Take two.
Take two.
Take two.
Or Carl. We love you, Carl. All right. Hello, and welcome to the Friends in Recovery Podcast. Jersey Ed here. Wait, I'm not Jersey Ed.
You're not. So where is Jersey Ed?
Yeah, where is Jersey Ed? Where in the world is Jersey Ed?
We should start a game like that.
We should. Where? That would be awesome. Anyway, so it's not Jersey Ed. Today I am Basic Beth.
Basic Beth today.
Basic Beth and my co-host Buckeye Bambi.
Hey.
Hello, Bambi. How are you?
I'm good, Beth. I'm glad we're here alone and Ed's not here to bother us.
I know we can
about him.
Totally talk shit about Ed for the entire 4 hours.
Absolutely. 5 hours.
5 hours. Oh, right. 5 hours. Okay. Okay. And here we are. And let's see. Podcast hotline. If you need to get in touch with us on a non-emergency issue, please. I've never actually think we've gotten a call, but I would love to get a call from y'all at 800-989-6504. And you can also email us, which I have also not ever seen, but help@friendsinrecoverypodcast.com. And we also have a website, which you should totally check out. And that is friendsinrecoverycommunity.org.
Absolutely. Check our website out.
Totally check our website out. It's epic. Hello. Just so you know that I will be accepting black hearts today, and Bambi will not be accepting any purple hearts today.
Maybe just one or two. One or two hearts.
Yes, but if you give Bambi one or two, then you have to give me 8 or 10. I think that's fair. I still won't have as many hearts as you, so I don't even know why I try at this point.
As long as Ed gets no hearts.
No hearts.
I'm good with it.
I'm not even going to tell you what color Ed's hearts are because he abandoned us and he's not here with us today.
Yeah. I think they were green or something like that.
Yeah. Or like chartreuse.
Yes. Yeah.
Periwinkle.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
All right. So I actually am on my couch because I thought we were doing couch and I'm all set up on my couch. Welcome to my my outdated living room that I absolutely love. It's my favorite place other than going to sleep in my bed. So,
well, maybe when Ed joins us next week, we will be on our couches.
Okay, we'll try that. Listen, I'll stay on the couch until next week. So I will be ready.
I think you'll enjoy that way too much.
Yes, I would. Sorry, boss. I can't go out and do 48 meetings this week. I have to stay on the couch. I'm sure you love that. So anyway, so just the two of us. So we're gonna do, what are we reading today, Bambi?
We are going to read 366 fucking days sober.
My favorite 24-hour book.
Right. That's right.
He has a podcast too, right? Doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. What is that podcast that, hey, anyone that listens to us knows last week, Ed streamed his show with Carl from Soberpod live to our YouTube. So hopefully everybody's very familiar with Soberpod and has already hit their subscribe button and are, listening to them as well. So
Carl's a good dude.
He is.
I like him. And he's got a great recovery date, which I do. So
yeah, you guys are like soul
sobriety souls.
Something like that. Yeah.
Right. East Coast, West Coast.
That's right. So are you ready?
I am.
All right. Remember when you wanted what you currently have? I sure do. When I was growing up, all I wanted was a home. I wanted a stable place to lay my head. Eventually, I got that. Then I wanted to marry my childhood sweetheart. I moved back to my home state to be with her, and then that happened too. Then all I wanted was a job. I wanted a career where I could learn and apply my talents and be successful. I felt like I got that too. Then the fog sets in. Every day repeated as I drank. I became ungrateful and I wanted more. I wanted a bigger house and demanded more love and respect for things I did not deserve. I wanted more recognition than what I felt I received for my efforts. My ego demanded more from these things, and eventually I ended up resenting the life I once wished for and deeply desired. As we say in recovery, and sometimes too much, expectations are only premeditated resentments. Watch for those 7 deadly sins of pride, greed, lust, anger, gluttony, envy, and sloth, and the instincts gone awry, and see if you can temper your desires today. The reflection is, am I living in the 7 deadly sins? And the daily challenge is to memorize the 7th step prayer in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, whether you believe in God or not. And I guess we better read that, the 7th step prayer, right?
God, I offer myself. Nope, that's the 3rd step. I now give to you.
I'm now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. You now remove from me every single defective character
which gets in the way of my usefulness
to you and
my fellows.
Grant me strength as I go out from here to do your bidding.
Amen. Does it say amen? I think amen comes with the 7th step prayer.
It does say amen.
Yep. And that's actually the first prayer in the book that says amen.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, very interesting.
Right? So it starts with the 3rd step prayer, and there's no amen on the 3rd step prayer. There's no amen on the 4th step fear prayer or the resentment prayer. And there's no amen on any prayers until the 7th step prayer. It's the first amen.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool.
Right? My sponsor actually used to do the prayers from the 3rd to the 7th step prayers every morning. And that was her prayer. That was her prayer time. She would do all the prayers and then until it said amen. And then she would move on. How cool is that?
That is pretty cool. Very cool. Wow. Come on. What kind of topics? We've got pride, greed, lust, anger, gluttony, envy, and sloth.
I think the 7 deadly sins in general is a great topic.
Absolutely.
Dude, I actually just came from doing a 5th step with somebody listening to a 5th step.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they asked, because it's people with time, right? So, one girl's got like 9 years and the other girl has got like 27 or 25 or something like that. So, and they're both very much doers, right? So I'm an experienced kind of person and they're like do kind of people. And they asked me to take them through the work. So they're like, okay, what do we do for step 6 and 7? And I'm like, you don't do anything.
Right.
You do nothing. God does all the work.
Right.
God's either going to make you willing to drop these character defects or he's not. So, yeah, the 7. Yeah.
You pray on it, right? You're supposed to take an hour and, kind of just connect with God and process everything.
Yeah. Look over all of your inventory. But the actual process of step 6 is becoming willing.
Right.
To let God take this.
Right.
So I gave them a writing assignment. They had to have a writing assignment. They had to have some sort of something they could do. So I told them, I said, every morning you're going to get up and you're going to write, God help me to stay in the present moment so that when these pop up, I can decide whether I'm ready or not or something. I don't remember what I said. I just made it up.
That's excellent.
Right?
I need to remember that.
Yeah. So, and then they're going to work on step 6 and 7. Listen, step 7 is a prayer.
Right. That's all.
Right.
This prayer we just read.
Yep. That's it. That's all you do.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because if you think about it, if I really am powerless and God's in charge, then I don't do any of the work but clear away the wreckage of the past.
Right.
I don't get to do any of that.
That's true. That's very true. I can just think when I was drinking and compared to how I was prior to being an alcoholic, I still had all those addictive tendencies. I think I've always had the character defects, of that behavior. And now, all of these things are just, it's not perfection, right? It's but I'm so much more aware of all of them when I do it. I still would lay on the couch for a week if someone gave me that permission to lay on the couch for a week.
100%. Yes.
But I would be aware that I shouldn't be laying on the couch for a week. It might twinge somewhere inside of me that maybe I should do something.
Or why?
Yeah.
What's wrong with laying on the couch for a week?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I would feel very sloth-like if I laid on the couch for a week.
That's what I think that's so funny. Like, we put these expectations on ourselves as human beings, right? We put these like hard expectations that we should be doing X, Y, and Z, or shouldn't do X, Y, and Z. And then we call ourselves human beings.
Well, that's true. Yeah. I mean, you're very right. I mean, what would happen if I laid on the couch for a week? You know, the world's not collapsing. Even this world around here is not collapsing, you know.
At some point,
excessive dog hair, but that's probably the only thing that would happen if I didn't move from the couch for a week.
Who knows? It could bring on your biggest shift ever if you spent an entire week on the couch, just kind of doing what you want to do and watching TV and realizing at the end that you don't want to sit on the couch, or realizing at the end, hey, I really needed to take that break.
Wow, that's a good thought. I may have to see if there's any binge-worthy shows out there. If anyone knows of any binge-worthy shows that would take me about a week, would you
totally.
Leave it in the comments below? And
dude, I totally forgot we were recording a podcast.
Well, that's good if you forget we're recording a podcast. That means it's real.
Yeah. Totally. It's totally real. Of course, it's you and me, Bambi. We're always real.
Well, that's true. Right. Ed's not here today. So.
Yeah, it's just the girls.
Right.
We just forget where we are. I went to a friend of mine and a sponsee of mine had a speaking commitment this morning. So the four of us wound up meeting at the meeting, and it was like a day of sharing or something. And we listened to them talk. And then the four of us went out to the diner afterwards for like 2.5 hours. It was like, literally, it was the best to just be with the girls. Like, we don't get to do that very often anymore.
So it was like in an in-person AA meeting? You mean one of those things that I have never done?
I didn't know that. Maybe you've never experienced a real in-person live Alcoholics Anonymous meeting.
Only the ones they had on campus when I was in rehab that they brought in. So not a real
real meeting, like
where there weren't counselors watching you and making sure you behaved and all that. No.
Dude, we got to get you out. COVID's over.
I know. You know, my husband actually found the church that he has just become a member of, you know, because we moved recently. They have AA meetings at noon and 7 every day except Sunday. So he said, would you go to an in-person meeting? And I'm like, maybe I would. I would feel like I was cheating on Friends in Recovery.
Oh my God.
No, I wouldn't. But I mean, it would. Maybe I do just need to get my ass out to one, and
it would be a new experience.
Yeah.
What are the 7 deadly sins again? Let's say.
Pride, greed, lust, anger, gluttony, envy, and sloth.
Yeah, I don't think it's a deadly sin to not go to an in-person AA meeting, but it definitely would be a new experience.
It would be. Yeah, it would be. All right, I'm going to put that on my list. Maybe by the next podcast, I'll be able to tell you about it.
What it's like to go to an in-person AA meeting. I tell you, like, I'm not a fellowshipy kind of chick. I'm not, dude. I don't do the masses in AA. I haven't in years. And it actually came up as a topic today at the diner. And while I was at the speaking commitment, I really felt spiritually pulled. Like, maybe I should just, that what they were sharing about kind of tugged at this thing inside of me. Like, when I was newly sober, I'm like, where's all the people with 20, 30, 40 years sober?
Yeah.
And I'm like, now I'm one of them.
Right.
And where am I? Because I'm not in a meeting.
Right.
So I was like, maybe I should start going to a meeting every week and just saying, if anybody would like to join me, I will be going to the Westfield Diner for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I should start showing up and actually being of service in AA again. Like,
that would be wonderful.
I'm selfish as fuck, Bambi.
Well, we don't get sober to live our entire life in AA, right? I mean, we give back, we do a service, we do what we can, but we get sober so we can live again.
I think I've pushed that
limit.
Yeah. I think my responsibility has been shrugged off for a little too long. I almost feel bad. I don't, but I almost do.
Yeah. Well, I think it will be interesting. I'm going to put that on my list for sometime this week. I'm going to go to an in-person meeting, and I will let you know how I feel about it afterwards.
Okay.
But you said creepy things happen in in-person meetings sometimes.
Yeah, no, there's predators everywhere you go, but yeah, Bambi and I were talking about predators in AA and how many women I've met that have been sexually assaulted in AA, which blows your mind, right? Like,
it really does.
Yeah, but yes, there's some creeps in AA.
If you're a predator, what better place to go, I guess, right? I mean, if you're truly a predator, think about the vulnerability. And the AA program teaches you to be vulnerable, right? We're sharing our hearts. We're core, deep down in our core, and but I had never considered, I never even thought about it. I mean, you hear about the 13th step and all that kind of stuff, but I since I've never been to a meeting, I've never experienced it, but just think of the psychology of it. Any kind of predator, that would be a playground.
100%. And like, it's funny too, because I think there are some very bad intentioned people that go to AA and do that on purpose, but there's a lot of people that are just sick and they don't understand that their behavior has severe effects on other people that are in the meeting. Right. So that's why I am always like, when I'm going to meetings, like the girls that I sponsor, like you're one of my girls. Like, I have a reputation in my area and I don't even go to that many meetings anymore, but I have a reputation. You're one of Beth's girls. Like, no one's going to come near you with a 10-foot pole. Because if I'm not going to rectify the situation, my husband will.
Yeah.
He'll choke the shit out of you. He didn't give a shit. Do you give a shit, Dan? Nope. He just said nope.
No, doesn't give a shit.
No. And like, we have like a whole squad. Like, we've been called to talk to people, and I have no problem taking it up and in as kind of way as I can. Like, listen, somebody came to me and said that you've made them feel uncomfortable and I just wanted to talk about it. Are you aware? And, there've been times that they're not aware, and there've been times where they tell me to go fuck myself, at which point then I just, call in reinforcements.
Well, I mean, we are dealing with sick people, right? I mean, all of us are, we're alcoholics, we're all sick. None of us, they say the emotional growth stops, when you start drinking, and a lot of people haven't grown past that. So, there's probably a hell of a lot of teenagers in those meetings,
a lot of,
don't know how to behave. They just don't know how to interact with women. They don't know how to do that. So
it's important. I think it's another reason why it's really good to say women with the women, men with the men.
Right.
And, we were all tasked in our fourth step to take responsibility, to not take responsibility for being victimized, but to take responsibility for continuing to put ourselves in situations to be victimized later in life. Does that make any sense? Like, or playing the victim, right? So we're tasked, at least in my fellowship family, we're tasked with really understanding our behavior and choosing who we want to be. And I think everybody should do that.
I think that's part of working, definitely working the program. If you're working it right, you have to decide who you want to be, and you have to work hard work to become that person, So what do you, on that same topic, but a little off, how do you feel if you get a new girl about no relationships for that first year? They always say that too. I always have heard that, no relationships for the first year. And we just had that come up in an AA meeting. A guy that had been sober for 12 years kind of asked our opinions. What do you think? Because there's this girl but she's not been sober a year, and we all said no, but what do you think?
I tell my girls that if you're not in a relationship when I meet you, you don't get in a relationship until you're in your 9th step.
Yeah.
And if it takes you 5 years to get your shit together, then that's on you. Right. And if you want to get through the work and actually, I don't, really get through the work and do the work, and it takes you 6 months and you're off doing direct amends, you go do what you need to do.
See, that makes sense. That makes sense. I was in a relationship, I was married.
You're married. Yeah.
But I wasn't ready for a relationship. I mean, it was like, what the hell? Now I have to act like an adult. I can't just drink my way through an argument, or, I have to be rational and I have to make sense. And so I can't imagine a new relationship, because I was already married when I got sober.
Oh, yeah.
So a brand new relationship when you're supposed to be the salesman showing up and being, on your best behavior. Can't imagine going through Paul's while I'm in a new relationship and freaking out on someone, I mean, seriously.
Oh, yeah. So most of the girls that I work with that are in relationships want to get out by the fourth step. When it's time to look at inventory, they all at some point during inventory want out of their marriage. And it's interesting because if you're out, you want in, and if you're in, you want out. And it's just another deflection of why you don't want to take inventory.
Right. Exactly. Well, we always want what we don't have, right?
100%.
I mean, it's kind of like Carl's reading today, we want the big house, we want the, and then we get it and it's not enough, so
not what I wanted.
Right. So you have a relationship, you thought you wanted that relationship, but do you want to do the hard work to keep that relationship going?
Right. And for people in your specific situation, like I want to say almost all of the women that I've sponsored that have been married go through a really hard time in their marriage after they're done with the work, after they go through all 12 steps and they've made their amends, because you become a different person.
Yeah.
You become more independent, or you become more resilient, or you don't need anybody to pick up your pieces anymore. And like, we choose our partners for a reason. And right. I can't tell you how many men have gone to their wives and said, now that you're sober, you don't need me anymore. And it causes fucking problems.
It's that exact thing happened to me, because even though Matt is sober himself, almost 18 years, not that he's forgotten what it's like to be newly sober, but you do forget a lot, of the beginning initial steps, after, you probably, you forget what it's like,
Oh, yeah.
And he did feel like I didn't need him anymore. And it was, honestly, there was a time when we were, we're either going to see a marriage counselor or we're going to get separated, because, we can't go this way. He really needed me to need him, and I needed to not need him.
Right. Like, it is fundamentally going to shift your marriage. Yes. And if you listen, the two girls that I'm specifically seeing in my eyes right now, both of them went to marriage therapy, and they had to build a new foundation.
Yes, you do have to. Absolutely. Right?
You marry somebody that's an alcoholic, it's because you like picking up people's pieces. It's because you like being needed. It's because your like foundation is to take care of somebody, right? Then you get sober and you don't need anybody to pick up your pieces, because you're not dropping your shit all over the place anymore.
And my husband had invested 2 years of getting me into rehab, me getting out of rehab, watching me relapse, getting me into another rehab,
which just made him feel so needed.
So for 2 years, that's all he did was get me help, fix me, help fix me, And so it's bad.
It's challenging, right?
Yes.
You have to find a whole new foundation for your marriage, and you have to think like, I don't need you, but I want you.
Right.
So it requires a different level of communication on my part, because when I needed you, and then this isn't specifically to me, but the girls that I got sober when I was 17, I got married when I was 10 years sober. Like, I'm less independent now than I was when I got married.
Right.
But it's like, I watched the girls and I'm like, you didn't need to communicate how your feelings towards your husband, because he felt needed, because he had to pick up your pieces. Right. Now you have to learn how to communicate that you want him in your life, that you love him, and that you appreciate him. Like, you need to do that verbally and with your actions purposely, because you don't need him to pick up your messes, because you're not making messes anymore.
That's right. Exactly. It's so funny. But in my mind, I'm like, how I wouldn't, like I say, I was married and I didn't want I wasn't ready for a relationship. So I understand the old person, pre-alcoholic, needing someone, wanting someone in your life, but I can't imagine starting a brand new relationship right out of in sobriety. New.
That's like, dude, you don't have, my sponsor told us you don't have anything to offer.
That's true, though. What do you have to offer? You haven't found yourself yet. You haven't learned to love yourself. You don't even
know what you like.
You don't even know that you don't love yourself. You know what I mean? You don't know anything yet. You're such a baby. In your emotions. Really. I mean, queen baby, right? I mean, all those traits, they're, oh my gosh.
One thing I'm super grateful for is that we live in an age where it's just as okay for women to go have friends with benefits as it is for men.
That's very true.
And if you have like a high libido and a high sex drive, like go do what you need to do. Go have whatever kind of relations, but just be super clear and communicate what this is. Right. And I have watched women go get their needs met just like men do.
Absolutely.
And go through the work. And then like I've watched women and been like, I can't believe that that's what I was attracted to.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, wow, can you imagine if you actually got in a relationship with them? And they're like, oh no, it was good for the night, but that was it.
That's it. Right.
That's it. Like, and thank God that was it.
Right. You change so much, it's just amazing. I'm sure the men change too, but I do think it's a little different for women. I don't know. We have, you got all those hormones anyway, you got to deal with and shit, I mean, seriously. Yep. I mean, it's just, man, I was an emotional wreck. I'm so happy that I don't have to be that way anymore, and that I could work on my relationship and all my relationships. I didn't even have good girlfriends because I pushed everyone away.
Nobody. So we're learning how to be in our own skin, and we're going through the work, and we're clearing the wreckage of our past, and we're learning how to have a sponsor, right? That's the first meaningful relationship in my life was my sponsor. And then I screw that all up and she can't get rid of me. And I start practicing with other people. And then I met some girlfriends. I think I had, let's see, there's that one. I think I had 3 boyfriends before I met my husband in AA, and I was 6 years sober when I met my husband.
And your husband, he's a normie, right?
No, he's in the program too.
Oh, is he in the program? Well, okay.
Yeah. So he's been sober. I'm sober 32. He's 26.
Okay, wonderful. So what do you think about that? How about if you're in a you're getting into a relationship fairly early in your sobriety and it's with a normie?
So I, this is like we could do like 5 hours on this topic.
Right. Well, we are doing 5. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
5 hours of editing.
He's going to have to cut like 50% of this out. Epic. Before I was married, I literally was like, you can't marry a normie. They'll never understand who you are. And you can't marry if you marry somebody in AA, you have to leave them if they drink.
That's true.
But what I've experienced being married for almost 22 years. In 2 weeks, it'll be 22 years. 2 weeks? Something like that.
Congratulations. Amazing.
Thank you. I know we still like each other. And
that's the amazing part.
Right. But what's interesting is that being married, like if Dan drank, I wouldn't leave him. He's my husband. He's not a sponsee. He's not a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. He's my husband.
Stand by him because that's what your vows say to do. You stand by him and you help him through it, And
I love him.
Right.
Right. And it's like, you take these vows like better or worse. Like, let me tell you something. If he's drinking, I'm definitely taking the finances. Like you don't get to touch money at all.
Right.
And if you do bad things, I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm not going to say I like you.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like I've seen a lot of people get sober or get married and then get sober. So they're married to non-alcoholics, in which you have this whole shift in your relationship, or you get divorced. A lot of people get divorced when they get married or when they get sober. And I've watched a lot of my friends who got sober young marry normies.
I think it would be hard in the beginning. I think, later on in your recovery, I think it would be okay. But for me, it was just hard for me. I spent a lot of time in my recovery, so much time. And I think it would be hard for a normie to understand the amount of commitment you have to give in the beginning. I just think that would be so hard, where someone in the program has been there. They know how much it requires in the beginning,
Yeah. I think too, but I mean, if you let's put it this way, if you get sober, you're not getting in a relationship with a normie for at least 9 months to a year, right? So then, and you know what? I don't think I get a lot of heat from this in AA. I don't think that going to a meeting every day is healthy. I think if you're going to a meeting every day, then you're drinking every day and you're not out there living your life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like in the big book, it says that they had a formal meeting once a week. Right. And then they spent a lot of time together doing stuff. But it's like you could invite your normie to all that stuff.
Well, that's true. That's true. I can see that. Bless you.
Thank you. I can't get rid of this cough. It's been 3 weeks.
Oh.
It's bullshit.
Not that horrible, dreaded. You've tested and you don't have the...
No, I don't have COVID.
Okay. All right.
It's just the residual. I used to smoke. Sometimes I still smoke cough.
Okay. As I'm vaping, that kind of thing. So,
No popcorn lung.
Which I'd stopped completely until Matt dropped dead on the beach. And then
fair. I gotta say, I call fair.
Yeah. I had been through enough stress. I'm like, take me to the first gas station, buy me a damn vape. I'm sneaking to the hospital restroom. So I'll pick another day to stop.
Yeah. So actually, funny story. I quit smoking down in Charlotte when I was pregnant with my daughter. So I didn't smoke for like 4.5 years. We made the decision to move home. Dan had to go up and start his job 6 weeks before we moved. So I was a single mom for 6 weeks. I made it 2 weeks and I called him. I'm home alone with the kids. Both kids are sleeping and they're like sleeping, but they're young. And I said to him, I'm going to leave the kids home alone and I'm driving to the corner to buy a pack of cigarettes. And he goes, is that really what you want to do right now? I said, is that really what you want to say to me right now? And he's like, no. And I started smoking. So yeah, yours is way more traumatizing than just me being with 2 kids. So
yeah, well, just considering, everything else that's went on and all the people that I've lost, it's like just the thought that he was going to be one of those people too. It's like, no, I can't do it. I need some vice, because I really don't have any other, so-called vices. I eat probably too much chocolate, but, I don't I don't drink a ton of coffee. I don't do all those other things. So I needed something. Needed something.
Dude, I would send you a vape. I support this decision. I do. There used to be I think it's from the first edition, that one of the original stories in the back of the book literally like winds up yelling at a wife for coming down on his wife for smoking and drinking too much coffee because the guy relapsed. And like, listen, if drinking too much coffee and smoking is going to keep him sober, like, who are you?
Yes. And I remember my brother, before he passed, he said to me, you vape, you do that all you want. You vape all you want. Just do not ever pick up another drink,
Right. Yeah. So. I am in support of this. Support in smoking. My girlfriend got divorced. She started smoking again. She still hasn't quit. It's been like 5 years. And like, it's, I'm like, yeah, do what you got to do. Just don't drink,
Right. I'll get on a healthy kick again. That was, when I've stopped, I was on this healthy, I'm going to eat really good and I'll get on a healthy kick again, but probably not till after the holidays, to be honest.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Let's enjoy the holidays.
Right.
Halloween is coming and it's candy from Halloween until January 1st. It's candy.
Baking cookies and cakes and pies and just.
What's 10 more pounds at this point?
Right. In January, everybody, do you know that it truly is, the stores stock their shelves completely different after January 1st. I was reading an article, and it was like in U.S. News, World Report, and it was like the amount of produce, like literally, it's like a third more.
Oh, wow.
Of diet frozen dinners, everything is like a third more than what they normally order, like
the rest of the year,
and November, and the rest of the year. The first few months, yeah, it's like a craze,
Yeah, healthy food and gym memberships in January.
Absolutely. I'll be one of those. Maybe not the gym membership, but I'll do the healthy. Until then, I'm going to vape and eat candy.
Yeah. How is Matt feeling, man? Is he good?
He's good. He been doing cardiac rehab, twice a week. Still has a little bit of memory, issues once in a while, but the doctor says it could take 6 to 8 months for all of the brain to completely reheal and do that. So he's back to work full time, and he only has short-term memory deficits. So he's back to work.
And he's Dory.
Yeah.
Wait, wasn't he dead?
Dead. Literally dead for at least
dead.
For at least 5 minutes. And that's how long, yeah. And then when they started CPR, the first person that started CPR did not know how to do CPR. So
he was half-assing it.
So it wasn't until the second person came along that they actually really provided a blood flow through his body doing CPR. And then they shocked him. It was probably 3 more minutes after that till they actually got the real heartbeat back. The doctors say that he should be a gork.
What's a gork?
It's all the nurses out there that are listening right now will know that it's like a brain impaired person that's like was on a ventilator, and they're
so basically a gork.
Yeah, a gork.
And now he's just, he's having some probably the same short-term memory fucking problems I have every day. Where did I put my coffee? I can't.
Right. And we probably wouldn't even notice it, except we're looking for it.
We're looking for it.
Yeah.
What a miracle, Bambi. God is definitely severely fond of you and him.
I think so. I'm tearing up just thinking about it. How close we came. I mean,
God's got your back. God's like, Bambi, God only gives you what you can handle. So
yeah,
here, you can't handle this right now. Yeah. We got you.
Yeah.
50 more years.
Everyone was so supportive. I mean, it was just amazing. So, and there was people in this program that were, supportive. So just amazing. And that's the gift of sobriety for me. I got to go through that sober and feel those emotions, but get through it.
Get through it.
Get through it. Yeah.
Oh my God. So amazing. Well, are you going to go watch the football game with him? You said he was yelling in there.
Yes, he's yelling. He's still yelling. So, of course, my Buckeyes won already. So,
of course, duh. They're your team.
That's right. Right.
You get all the wins. You get all the Purple Hearts. And I'm over here in Jersey just being like, WTF.
Hey, the Phillies are doing good, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't.
Oh, you don't do that?
Wait, did you say Philly as like in Pennsylvania?
Oh, you're not on that end of New Jersey?
Oh, no. Oh, no. I am a North Jersey girl.
Oh, okay. So who do
New York?
North New York. Oh, well.
Oh, yeah. New York Giants.
Oh.
If you have a lot of self-hatred, it's the Jets.
Got it.
If I was gonna vote for or praise for or whatever you do for football, it would be the Giants, the New York Giants.
All right. Well, forget about the Phillies then. But the Phillies are doing good. For any of our listeners that are Phillies fans, they're still in the playoffs.
I don't even know what that means.
They're doing good.
Oh.
That's all. They're doing really good.
Home run!
All right. I guess it's football time for me.
Go enjoy yourself, Bambi. And everybody out there, what does that always say? Hey,
stay sober.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.